Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the first video that I'm gonna upload after I announced my pregnancy. Right now I am almost close to 4 months, like 15 weeks. So I'm at the stage where I look super bloated. It's not noticeable. People probably won't say anything if they don't know I'm pregnant because they didn't want to think that, you know, like, what if I'm not? Then that's gonna be awkward. But I can show you guys my bump right now. Yep. So this is what we're gonna deal with right now, and currently it's about 11 o'clock. I am literally like a chicken with my head cut off here because I have so much gesso cards that I have to do. Follow-up wise, I'm okay because it's closer to the holidays, so I'm kind of pushing all my follow-up to January next year. Other than that, I'm still trying to get as many hours of prospecting in as possible. But what's really stressing me out is actually the content that I have planned for my second YouTube channel. It's been delayed. So I was planning on doing a video on the suburbs area, and I had written like little posting notes, but I can't find the other one. So like I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I might have to just do the research again to do another video. So the goal for today is to edit 2 videos, one for the English channel, the other for the Chinese channel, finish my postcards, and then prospect at the same time.
A hot butt. As a kid, as far as like screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You get up or she get up?
Yeah, and then y'all both waiting to see who gets up.
Oh really?
Yeah. And then she'll act like she don't even hear it, so then you
no.
Yeah, believe me, you'll end up doing it. Watch.
I have been getting so many different tips on working out while you're pregnant, but I think my belief is, like, I listen to science, I listen to whatever my OB is telling me. She said because I was a very active person before I got pregnant, so right now, you know, I passed the first trimester, I can start doing something that's pretty active as long as it's not too heavy for me. I'm obviously not going to do boxing, so I will be heading to the gym around 3 o'clock. Hi guys, I just made it home. So at the last part of the video, I do kind of want to do a quick summary about my follow-up system. Before I go over the system, there are 2 rules that I go by, and number 1 is there's no such thing called too much follow-up. At the beginning, I was really hesitant of every time reaching out to sellers. I feel like I was being a bother to them, but as long as each of your follow-up phone call has its purpose and you're doing it in a strategy, there's no such phone call as follow-up is a bad follow-up, and you cannot lose a client by follow-up too much. So the number 2 rule that I stand by is I know in the listing business, the 2 things that generate most income is prospecting and scheduling listing appointments. And the one key point that ties these 2 things together are follow-up calls. Until now, I always do my follow-up calls the very beginning of every day that I started my other activities, because I want to get that out of the way, and I know it's the toughest thing and I know it's the most important thing for me to do, so I always schedule to do my follow-up calls first thing in the morning. Before we talk about follow-up calls, we need to talk about the general prospecting calls, the one that we do like mostly cold calling and just calling neighborhoods up and down. This one is easy. Every time you make a phone call, ask them if they're thinking about selling the house. There are usually 3 reactions. They either say, yes, we're thinking about selling in the next couple months. We know exactly where we're moving to. And if that's the case, they are hot leads for you. And if they say, maybe we're thinking about selling in a year or 2, why don't we check back next year in the springtime? And these are the people that I would consider them a warm lead. They are not sure, they don't know where they're moving to, but they kind of have an impression of, okay, well, we need to really sit down at the dinner table of Christmas to really talk about, you know, moving and downsizing. So these are the people that I'll definitely follow up in January to kind of test the water, where they are in the moving process, whether if they're thinking about the summer or the spring. Now, the last one is the type of people that say, no, we're not thinking about selling. But I don't just let these people go. Because I've been doing so many calls, sometimes just the tone they're saying it, I can kind of tell if these people are hesitate or it's like a fake no, or if it's like a maybe no. And if that's the case, I'll just kind of push it a little. I'll either say, hey, what about a couple years down the road? Are you thinking about selling? Or I'll say things like, hey, I'm actually working for a real estate company on this location, and recently I have sold 3 properties in your neighborhood. I was able to say things like that because I'm a really local agent. I typically focus to prospect in a general area where I get most of my listings. So I can say that, and it creates a familiar feeling for them, like, oh, you're the agent that sold my neighbor's house. And they will let their guard down, and they will probably tell me, maybe we're thinking, why don't you call us back in 2 years? And if that's the case, then I will put them as a not yet interested, but then I'll still schedule a phone call and send my business card to them right after the first initial phone call. The second type of prospecting calls is what I called right now business. It's canceled, expired listing plus for sale by owner. And these, I create a separate folder on my Mojo for the CRM. Usually the first couple days, the fresh for sale by owner leads are the best. So if they are just on the market for a couple hours, give them a call, give them a shout, introduce who you are, try to schedule a preview appointment to have a FaceTime, but do not tell them too much information on the first initial meeting, because if you set the listing, you talk about how much you are planning on marketing it, you talk about the pricing that you will give it to them, then there's really nothing to talk about the second meeting when you go back for the actual signature. As far as expired and cancel listings, what I do is, as long as they pick up my phone and I get to talk to them, I will try really hard to schedule the initial appointment right away. And if I can't, then I will get their email and I'll just follow up with them every couple weeks and just send them market updates through email rather than give them a call again. Because with cancel listing and expires, they get bombarded by a bunch of people that call them all the time. They don't tend to pick up the phone. So if they actually are having conversations with you and they're answering your questions, you are making a great impression compared to other agents. Now, the ways that I do my follow-up, majority I do it through phone call. I give them a follow-up call and I will follow up. Let's say they're thinking about selling in 6 months. I'll follow up definitely in 2 to 3 months. And if the second month they don't pick up, I'll follow up the 3 month. And if I talk to them, they tell me they're still thinking about selling in 6 months, and I'll schedule another phone call in 6 months. But at the meantime, every month, I'll send them a follow-up mail, and it's typically in a postcard form. I'll send that to them so they see my face. They know I am there to help them if they have any question. Usually, let's say if I reach out in 2 to 3 months, they don't pick up, it went to voicemail, or it's constantly going to voicemail, I'll try to send them a text message. And every holidays, I'll send text message to all my leads as well. It's like another point of like checkup. And as far as email, I do that as the third way for me as the form to kind of follow up. Emails are usually for me send it out for market updates to for sale by owner, expired listings. I tend to find my cold leads don't really need me to send them emails because they're used to having me give them a call. They used to see my postcards. So I don't really need the email to add another touch. Yeah, so this is basically kind of my full map of my follow-up system. And if you guys have watched until this far, make sure you comment fortune cookies. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.